So one of the first questions I get asked is, why did AssetMark buy Voyant? And what is Voyant? And I tell people, it's quite interesting, I said, I've heard people say it's financial planning, it's cash flow. I've heard say it's goal-based. Let me tell you the vision of why we started Voyant and what we built. So Voyant is a global financial presentation and collaboration platform. It uses modern interfaces and very complex math that's presented in a simple way. And from that, I've had the privilege to work with some of the most innovative firms in the world. Small firms, 1- and 2-man shops, to some of the largest enterprises you can imagine with thousands of users. I work across all market segments. So whether it's branch advisors, working on iPads, talking to customers about simple things, or I actually do have the privilege of working with the private bank that served Sir Isaac Newton, whose name is still in the ledgers that they keep in the lobby. And as I travel and do that, one of the things that comes to mind is what we've built at Voyant is we're the platform by which all of these firms express their value proposition to their clients. When you think about financial planning, when you think about what we're doing, we're what you're working with the client. We're what you're sending home with the client. These are the things that you think about and you're going to work with and go, yeah, it's financial planning in a way, but it's really how I'm expressing my value proposition, my knowledge, and everything to my client. So what I want to talk a bit about today is trends and what we're seeing in the industry globally. And yes, the pandemic did accelerate things. It's funny, when Natalie yesterday was talking about millions of new self-investors and trillions of new investments, I didn't hear a whole lot of applause from this audience. And it's interesting because I want you to think about things. You can think of it as two ways. And you can think about it as a threat, or you can think about it as an opportunity. Natalie presented it as an opportunity. And it's a very interesting way to think about it. I want to focus on that because if you start doing that, you can get it. So you've got lots of new stuff coming around. I don't know how many of you trade crypto, whether you're doing NFTs or not. Some of you may be finfluencers. I haven't seen you on Reddit or online, but with everything's going on. But one of the keys about all this is that yes, the information is out there. The ability to buy things is out there. But how you put it all together is different. And wealth management and financial advisors have something they need to think about. So a survey done last year, late in the year by Accenture, 90% of the folks in the high net worth space said the advice they got was way too generic, and that they thought they probably could have done most of that on their own. Now, one of the things I want you to think about is financial advice and everything we're talking about, whether you call it wellness, whether you call it planning, whatever you're doing to work with clients, it's a retail experience. Some of you may remember these guys. I used to get my husky jeans from Sears when I was a kid. And they used to be part of life. To this day, Toys R Us was an amazing brand that just disappeared. But what they really were companies that were transactional. They were product focused. They became undifferentiated. They're legacy brands, old business models. They didn't react to trends. They failed to recognize things that were going on. And they failed. And there's more coming. Retail is a very interesting thing, and this is a retail experience. Now, there are a lot of winners out there. Of course, there's Amazon, who built this amazing, and Amazon, think of whatever you want. I deal with Amazon in a much different way. What Amazon really is an amazing logistics company. Whether on the digital side, the shipping side, yeah, they sold books to start, but when they figured it out, what they really are, and we host on their platform, in terms of AWS, is this amazing logistics company that does incredible things. When I think about Nordstrom's, Target, and these incredible curated experiences when you shop there. And then there's Apple. And Apple, when you think about that phone in your pocket, everything driven, and these amazing stores that they have, that they're experiences they built with, they're incredibly curated. Now they're going into health, now they're thinking about buying Peloton, all these amazing things. It's part of their brand that they're building, they're experiencing. But they're curated experiences. They're carefully measured in terms of what they're doing. So, what we think about going forward, and I want to think about when we look at these trends, what all of these people that are successful are doing, and what I recommend you think about your practices doing is, one, you've got to be collaborative. Technology is an enabler. That's what our platform is. There's new business models and new value adds coming all the time. You can see them as threats, or you can see them as opportunities. And yes, clients can buy all sorts of new stuff, but the knowledge that you have and how you relate to those clients in terms of collaboration is important. You're going to see people that you thought were friends, product providers, become competitors. But how you relate in terms of being collaborative is very important. Next, I want you to think about being ultra-personalized. We're to the point now where, this whole concept of 4% rule, this whole concept of all these things that are coming along in terms of these elements, you're done with those, right? You want to think of 60-40 portfolios, the same product every, that generic advice, it has to be personal. It has to relate to me. It has to relate to my goals, my plan, my future. Whether it's somebody who wants to retire early, whether it's somebody who wants to gift everything away, everything's got to be personalized in terms of what they're doing. You heard the discussion about ESG. We need to think about how people relate to their money in terms of health and wellness and what it means to them. Next, I recommend that you're holistic. Whether you sell the products or not, think about being involved in the bigger part of the conversation, banking, insurance, all of it. Whether or not I use a line of credit for a strategy to afford something, whether or not I actually pay off my credit card debt, all of these holistic elements are important. How property figures in. Young people these days, and the number of people that I know that own second homes that have been put up on VRBO, and all these elements. Transition of wealth, multi-generational. Everything needs to be part of it in terms of this discussion. We want to be complex in our goals and analysis. We don't want to leave anything behind. We really want to show that, hey, look, you understand who they are. What we're presenting to you is personal to you. And we're taking everything into account. We're not going to say, go talk to somebody else. We're seeing a lot of firms move very heavily into bundled services. So when I think about bundled, it's really this idea of, yes, there might be commissions, there might be other things in terms of, but everything's packaged together. Investment management is becoming commoditized. But when you think about the value-added pieces that exist and everything that you can bundle together for your client and all the pieces that you can talk about and all the new products that are coming available, think of bundling all together in one nice package that's nice and clean, but it all comes together. One of the things about AssetMark, and one of the reasons why I really enjoyed working with them and why we did the transfer is the way that they think of you as partners and the way I think of you as partners and how we work with our firms is it's a bundled experience. It's more than just transactional. It's bundled, and it's all going to go together. Next, think about staying connected. 9 to 5 is dead. When I work with the big institutions, one of the advantages they have is they have lots of people. Now, the problem with lots of people is, in honesty, they're not as smart as personal as you are. Big organizations are large and slow, but they got people. 9 to 5 is dead. They can answer the phone anytime. Consumers want interactions on their schedule. They also want you to be proactive. If you see something that's going on or trends that are happening, be able to go back into the data and say to them, hey, take a look at this. Yesterday is a strange moment. We had a client call us from Europe and said, hey, I'm building this War in Europe plan. This sounds like fun. And what we're going to do is, can you help me build? I said, sure, what are we doing? He says, I want to talk about high inflation, low growth for a 3-year period. And show me what's going to happen to my client's plan. Just quickly called our support and said, walk me through it. And so he was proactively calling his clients and saying, look, don't worry about it. Your plan is fine. The markets may not do great. And yes, we're seeing these things. But I can go back to your plan in this new model and proactively talk to all of them. Think about new service models, ways that you might put new people into the program. We're seeing the concept of coaches and concierges, people that are these wellness specialists that are coming in and saying, you might do the advice, but it might be my junior who specializes in wellness and some of these other discussions I'm putting together. All of that is part of that connectivity that you really want to talk about and work through. Now, others aren't lost. One of the most interesting things in that Accenture report that came out was 69% of the respondents said they would be willing to take financial advice from Google or Amazon. And the interesting part was why. They said, well, it's because one, they're innovative, two, they're connected, they deliver in my time. But what was also interesting was 17%, only 17%, said that they didn't want to interact with humans, that they weren't interested in DIY experiences for most of what they were doing. They want advice. They want to stay connected, and they want to go from there. So when you think about moving forward and how you think about yourselves and how you relate to your clients through technology and solutions, think about developing yourselves as an experienced and curated solution. Travel agencies are a good one. I like to think about Expedia. Expedia owns some good friends of mine called VRBO. They also own Booking.com. If you watch the Super Bowl, everything was basically Expedia ads. They're just under 10 different brand names. They're transactional, and they do okay with it. But they haven't gotten rid of the folks that are experiential. Abercrombie & Kent's still an amazing brand. If you're going on amazing luxury vacations, you probably think about them more than picking stuff. Think about your brand and imagery. Think about all those things that you put together in this modern experience. How you're relating to your clients and the technology that you're using, and what is that connection point? And if my team and my solutions can be of assistance to you and help you develop that curated solution using our technologies, we're in the hall, happy to chat with you here, and always available online. And we look forward to growing with you in the next coming years with AssetMark. Thank you very much.